To take a look at this announcement on the Diocese of Norwich website, which is part of the Church of England. So you can see from the title here, it says, "What's in the name? Why Karlene's role title has changed." So if we read what it's got to say here, so it talks about how the Church of England is recategorising roles such as this person has got. Um, it says, while it's perfectly natural to be part of a group, it gives a sense of belonging and identity. The monitoring of race, ethnicity, gender, etc., is essential to prevent discrimination and ensure diversity and inclusion. So it goes on to basically call out what they think are issues with the BAME acronym, the Black Asian Minority Ethnic. And I'd certainly agree that, I mean, if I was an ethnic minority, I'd probably be quite annoyed at being labelled under an acronym. Just like if I was gay, I'd be pretty annoyed at being described as LGBTQ dot 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 when I'm just a person who happens to be gay, or in the ethnic sense happens to be whatever, black or Asian. Because it actually goes on to say, secondly, the causal use of BAME has resulted in individuals feeling that their identity has been erased, that they've been othered. So yeah, if you class people under an acronym like this, it does exactly that. But I mean, besides government and other organisations using some of these acronyms, it's also used a lot by various activists and people who have got some kind of axe to grind. And then it makes a point which I suppose is true to some extent, that sometimes BAME is used highlight negative things like underachievement in education. So it says, right, what's the alternative? It says there is no classification that is acceptable to all, and notions of nationality and identity are constantly evolving. Within the Church of England, the acronym UKME, which is UK Minority Ethnic, has been adopted, which seems fairly reasonable to me. But then they go on to say the term global majority heritage is a reminder that minorities in the UK are often from a majority world culture, e.g. Africans, Indians. And it says in Hong Kong, those who qualify will soon be allowed to emigrate to the UK. So even though they are from a majority in China, there'll be minority ethnic in the UK. So yeah, I mean, that's just purely a fact. But this term global majority has been kind of turning up a lot recently. Not really too sure what the point of this is. It seems to be an ideological thing. If you're Chinese in Britain, you are an ethnic minority in Britain, even though if you were living in China, you're obviously part of the majority. It's also worth pointing out, because they say global majority, it's actually misleading, because what they're actually talking about is majority in particular parts of the world or particular countries. So if we look at this world population pie chart, I think going down at the bottom it says it's from 2008, but I don't think the overall it's going to have changed massively. So you can actually see that all countries or particular parts of the world are a minority in global terms. There is no actual global majority at all. So even though China and India have particularly massive populations, they're still less than half the world's population. Sub-Saharan Africa is even less than a quarter, and then you can see various other regions. So I think the title of this is actually is quite right. What's in a name? So if you're going to pick a phrase, you need to pick something that is accurate. So global majority heritage actually is misleading, because they're not talking about global majority. There is no global majority ethnicity. They're actually talking about a majority in a kind of source country, if you like, if you're talking about migrants to the UK. Um, so I wonder if there's some kind of ideological thing here trying to spin the fact that certain people are in an ethnic minority here, but then almost like trying to turn it round to suggest there's some kind of a majority, but they're not. They're not over here, and it's over here that we're talking about in these contexts. Um, and then she kind of signs off here saying that our abiding hope is that one day classifications will cease to exist, that despite any differences, we will matter of factly just view one another as simply that, another person. Well, yeah, that would be great, but actually, it's the constant focus that has become a hyper focus in the last few years on particularly on race and gender that is actually continually highlighting the differences between people, whether it is actually based on ethnicity or sexual orientation. And certainly the continued focus on this, the increased amount of diversity, uh, diversity, equity, and inclusion roles and stuff, it only goes to continue to highlight this. So it might be their abiding hope, but at the moment, if anything, I think we're actually moving away from viewing people as simply another person because of this hyper focus on what are people's differences.